It's time for First Down and Dirty's NFL picks on Scout.com with Fox Sports. I'm Kavita Channe, and this week we have another very special guest for you. If you had watched my picks last year, you would have seen this guest clock 67% against the spread during the playoffs on his picks. That's pretty impressive. And he's here to top that record. Let's welcome the amazing and talented LeGrand. What you got for us, E?
Thanks, Kavita. Glad to do another cameo on Fox Sports. First up for me is Oakland at the Jets, with the Jets favored by 2.5. You got to look at it. The Jets are on a 2-game losing streak. They were going back and forth all year, win-loss, win-loss, win-loss for the first 10 games. Now they're facing an Oakland team who's switched up their quarterbacks a few times. I'm sure Rex Ryan will have that defense dialed up. Now it goes to the offense. What kind of Geno Smith are you going to get? He's thrown one touchdown pass in the past 4 or 5 games and has not looked good at all, and actually was benched this past week for Matt Sims to come in. Depending on what type of Geno Smith you get, is how the Jets are going to go. And I believe versus Oakland, they'll be able to run the ball a little bit with Chris Ivory and Bilal Powell, which is going to open up the passing game for Geno Smith, who doesn't have the best wide receivers in the league, but he'll find a way to get them. So I will take the Jets with 2.5 points favored in this game. Next up is the Giants at the Chargers, with the Chargers favored by 3. This is going to be a very interesting game. These two teams are fighting for their lives, hoping the other teams will lose so they can get into the playoffs. The Giants have struggled in the beginning of the season, starting off 0-6, but since then have bounced back to now have a 5-7 record. We're really going to be challenged on going up against the Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is going to test that secondary. We all know how he loves to sling the ball around. Sometimes it goes his way, other times it doesn't. He throws a lot of interceptions, but he also throws a lot of touchdown passes. And the Giants secondary is definitely going to be tested, and we're going to see if Justin Tuck can repeat himself like he did with Washington and have another 4-sack game, because they are going to need to get a lot of pressure on Phillip Rivers. And now going over to the Giants side, Eli Manning, which one are we going to get from him? Are we going to get the one where he starts to rally for the playoffs in December like he usually does? Or we're going to get the Eli Manning from the beginning of the season, who was leading the league at one time in turnovers. It's going to be a very interesting game. They do have Andre Brown, who they can hand the ball off to, and also Peyton Hill is backing him up. So it's going to be an interesting game, but in my choice, I would take the Chargers favored by 3 in San Diego. Back to you, KC.
Thanks, E. I gotta say, I'm really liking those picks. It's always a pleasure to have you on, and hopefully you'll be back before the season ends. And now for my bonus pick, Indianapolis at Cincinnati, with the Bengals favored by 6. Now both these teams are 8-4 and first in each of their conferences. But the importance of this game may mean that the winner will get closer to wrapping up the 3rd seed. So with that in mind, this game is very important, and both these teams know it. Now, here's how I see it. The Bengals are playing pretty well lately, and their 8th-ranked passing D will get all over Reggie Wayne's Andrew Luck. Now, Luck, yes, he's a great quarterback with a great future, but this day will not be pretty for him. Now, to add to that, since he has an 8th-ranked rushing D to hold the Colts in check and force Luck to make a lot of throws with a lot of pressure on him. Now, in terms of Cincy's offense, they're ranked 11th in passing, and now their running game has an added spark to it with St. Thomas Aquinas and North Carolina alum Gio Bernard in the backfield. If you look at Cincy's last 8 games, the only ones they lost were in overtime at Miami, which I hate to say, but they probably should have won, as well as an overtime loss at Baltimore. So my point is, this team is very solid. When you look at the Colts, on the other hand, yes, they beat Peyton and the Broncos this year, but the last few games they've either won by a nose or they've been beaten very badly. Now, the choice for me is pretty clear. Cincy is a better team, and they're playing at home, which only helps. So Cincy will win this game, and I think they win by at least 10. Therefore, I'm taking Cincy -6. Thanks for watching mine and LeGrand's Week 14 picks. Feel free to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And remember, our picks are for entertainment only. We are not handicappers. We'll see you next week.